I left Howard. I went to Howard 1 year. You never go to school where your parents teach because you don't know what's going on. So I went to Roosevelt in Chicago. My cousins told me it's the only school in the country that would put up with me, and it was true. Radical school, started in 1946 because they had a quota on blacks and Jews at YMCA College. The faculty walked out and formed Roosevelt University in 1947. I got there in 1961. The school's 15 years old. It was chaos, wonderful, beautiful chaos, some of the greatest faculty I've ever seen in my life. And it was a commuter school. We had no dorms. We had no athletic anything. And so everybody went back to their neighborhood at the end of the day. So your education was grounded in the world around you. And there I met a whole faculty of people that believed firmly that education and society were not separate, and that what you learned and how you acted had to impact the world, otherwise you're wasting your time. I was one of the founding members of that Black Studies generation. I've never looked for a job. Every job I've been in, I've been the first one to do it. We defined the world in which I worked. But what you understand is that a university is a political institution, and so the work is ongoing. I can't just sit down and say I'm going to teach Black Studies and leave it at that, because the institution still is not ready for Black Studies. So you learn that your academic life and your political life are now entwined, and so you spend your entire academic career also as a politician in defending your discipline, expanding your discipline, trying to transform the institution around you so it's more amenable to the discipline you're in. I was surrounded by the most intelligent black people in the 20th century. And they nurtured me from the time I was a child. They saw me as one of them, a potential one of them. And so I grew up with a host of mentors. When I got to Roosevelt, again, Sinclair Drake and Lorenzo Turner, amazing, absolutely amazing. Charles Hamilton, who wrote, Black Power with Stokely Carmichael. And then my colleague who I wrote books with, August Meyer, he was a white scholar who wrote on Black history. We hired him, and while I was an undergraduate, he asked me to help to write books with him. And it never occurred to him that I had to have a whole lot of, initials behind my name to know the material. He said, you know as much as I do, so come on, And so we, over our span of our lives, he died 20 years ago, we published, 14 books together, but I was never the junior person. He and Elliot Rudwick were older than me. They were established scholars, but I was always an equal. And my view of mentoring is you treat your students as equals. It's being a teacher. You can't be a good teacher without being a mentor. I don't know why you would separate them out. Education means to lead out, to open up, to lead out. That means to lead out in all aspects of the life of the people in front of you. So that means you have to be attuned to their problems. You have to be attuned to how you interact with them coming from where they come from. You have to be attuned to the things they need to know to move from A to B. And then you have to help them move from A to B. And people call it mentoring, but it's teaching. The most important luxury we have on this planet is the time to think. If intelligence is randomly distributed across the planet, there are like 6 billion people. What we want to do and should try to do is to give those 6 billion people as much time to think so we can get the benefit of their intelligence and their insights in their brains. Most people work too hard or too tired, and their resources are not available, so that we waste millions and millions and millions of great new ideas and thoughts because we don't have people with time to think. And so the longer you can pull yourself out of a kind of rat race and out of a kind of economic kind of deprivation and can sit still and let your mind flow freely, then the better the world will be for everybody.